Dag sê julle, welkom hierso by Boertjie en Oz. Vroegoggend hier by ons. Maak reg vir nog 'n dag. Dis 'n plant. Just want to thank you guys again for all your shares and your comments and the guys that subscribe to the channel. I said that in the previous video we were most probably gonna start with a container stuff, but I forgot a few things on a 428 visa that is maybe important to mention. So basically on my conditions there's different streams on the 482 that you can go on, and my stream was a labor agreement, and it gives me the opportunity or the option to work for 4 years in Australia basically, and then depending on what on your labor agreement, what on the contract, what's stipulated in a contract, but in most cases currently on a 482 visa is if you work 2 years out of your 4 years for the same employer and the same occupation, then you can apply for permanent residency. That is a big thing, because when I applied the first time on a 482, you had to work 3 out of the 4 years before you can apply for permanent residency. So basically they shorten it with 1 year. That's a positive. And then on the labor agreement, on a 482, on a labor agreement, the one that I'm on, I'm not allowed to do any business on it. Basically part-time business, or a business of any sort of an extra income. I'm not allowed to do that. But your family that's with you, your wife or your children, they got basically the same freedom as citizens, and your spouse is allowed to, whatever, she can come and go as she pleases, and she can start a business. She can, work. If she finds a work, she can work. So she's basically got the freedom to do whatever, but I'm not allowed to start my own business or do my own thing on a 482 visa. So I know, you can go for seasonal work in the US on a H2 or H2B, I think is the other one that you can, go for seasonal work in agriculture and so forth in the United States. But for South Africans in Australia, it's not possible doing it here. But yeah, if you come on a 482 visa, you basically, depending on which stream, you can work 2 to 4 years in Australia. Guys, I just want to confirm with you again that I'm not an agent. I can't, I will not be able to help you guys or to give you legal advice on immigrating. I'm just sharing you my experience, my personal experience that I went through, and because I did the visa on my own, I didn't work through an agent. This is the stuff that I went through. I can just also tell that with the English test that there's a lot of people asking which is the right test to do, and I can't tell you which one is the best. But what I can tell you is that I did the PTE, and for me, the PTE was not that hard, and you know, for a guy that can't speak English, the PTE wasn't that bad. But I know for certain people the PTE is a problem. The reason for that is that we found is that the PTE is completely computer based, and so when you do it and you basically, you know, you do everything on a computer, you speak to the computer, and the computer is you know, speaking basically to you, and if you write your essays or whatever, you know, it's all computer based. Well, the ELTS, ELTS in short, it's more personal. It's also computer based, but you have the interview that's with, you know, someone else. And for some people, that's a better option. The reason for that is your voice. When you speak to the computer, your voice has got a certain tone, and that tone, the computer doesn't always pick it up that well. So for speaking, you don't get, you know, proper points or maybe higher points. And I know that my cousin, example, he struggled with a PTE, and that was the reason why. But when he did the IELTS, and he went for an interview, he aced it. He aced his English. He's a Gurkha as I am, and basically not good English, but he got good points on that. So you basically, I don't know, you know, it's also a lot of money. And there is online practice tests and that you can go on, and that you can go practice on it and see which one, you know, fits you the best, or which one is more comfortable for you, and that's the better option to go with the English. But it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. It's if you do a few practices before, you know, you don't do your English test, it's really not that bad. On the 482 visa, there is again, depending on I don't know what on the labor agreements or your stream or whatever, but there is a pathway to permanent residency. So you gotta basically start off with a 482 visa, and then if you worked your 2 years out of the 4 years for your employer, the same one, the same occupation, you are allowed to you know, apply for a 186 visa, and a 186 visa is your pathway to residency. So that is basically where we at this stage. And you gotta do everything that you basically done with the 482 visa, the sponsorship, your employer's gotta advertise the occupation, the post, everything except the skill assessment. If you know that everything you gotta do all over again on the same thing. It's a repeat of the 482. That is a bit of a pain, but anyway, that's how it is. But then you got your pathway to permanent residency, and as far as I know, is after 4 years in Australia, you can get your citizenship. But then again, just to confirm with you guys, so on a 482 visa, on a labor agreement, there's levels, the levels that I spoke of. So you get a level 1 to a level 5, and the occupations, all the occupations on that skills and demand list, they on different levels, and depending on the level that you're at, it's also for agriculture on a 482 visa. I think you got to have 1 year experience for certain occupations. Other occupations, I think it's 3 years experience, and then depending on what qualifications you've got. But then again, that's if you fall in any of those categories, an agent or immigration lawyer will help you with that info. I don't know that. I didn't do that. I went on a 482, and I can only share my experience regarding to that. And it is a process, but it's I think for me that my visa went that quick is because I basically, if I got an email, I immediately react to that. I know if my employer got an email, he immediately reacted to that, and I think that was just the advantage for me, not going through an agent, as because agent, I don't know, they got a lot of applications on their table that they got to work with, and I guess there's a planning to that, and that can be so basically if immigration or immigration sends an email, then it's got to go to the agent, and then the agent's got to send it to you, and then you can only react after you received it from the agent. I guess that's the way. Well guys, I think that's the end of the visa. So on the next one I'll share my experience with the containers and the packing up, and what to take and what to leave and all that. And anyway, until next time, I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please share, comment. We'll enjoy it.